on, friends? My name is John Waldman. I'm a filmmaker based in New York. I know it's been a little while, a lot has changed, but first off, I got the new setup. It took me a little while to figure out, how I wanted to film this, what was the angle. I know it's a little bit bright out right now. I might be a little blown out over there, but whatever. Real estate has become a much bigger part of my business. I'm mainly doing real estate videos, and I sometimes get questions about real estate videos, so I figured I'd kind of make a tutorial today. So first I want to go through the approach when I get to the property. First I show up, I talk with the agent, and then I ask the agent what the most important part of the property is. Some properties, it's all about the view. Others, it's about the appliances. Others, it's about the amenities. So find out what the, I got Charlie here. So find out, he needs to go for a walk. So yeah, take two, we're back. If you're keeping up at home, Charlie took care of his business. The first thing I like to do is speak with the agent, broker, assistant, whoever is on site with you, and find out what is the selling feature of this apartment or house. Sometimes it's a view, sometimes it's the appliances, like a beautiful, kitchen. Sometimes it's the amenities in the building. So we really have to find out what's the most important part of the space. And then from there, I like to do a bit of a scout. I take a look at lighting. I see where the sun is coming from, what rooms are a bit darker, what rooms are lighter, what I think would be easiest to shoot first, because sometimes you have to move stuff around, so I try to be strategic to save both myself and the agent's time. So after I've come up with my game plan, it's time to build up my rig. I shoot with my old reliable Sony a7S II. I really like the ability to crank up the ISO in this, because some properties and room are a bit dark, so having the flexibility to bump up your ISO is really clutch for real estate videos. So I use a Canon 16-35 f2.8 version 3. You could use any version of that. I find 16mm is the sweet spot between wide but not too wide, and also without distortion. It's not like a fisheye, no vignetting, even wide open. And honestly, I think it's underrated that when it protrudes, the zoom is internal. So, if you've used like a 24-70 or a 24-105, you know how the lens kind of goes out. It does its zooming internal, so if you're flying this on a gimbal, which I do for these real estate videos, this is really clutch. And I like having the flexibility because 16 is obviously for all my wide master shots, but 35mm is fantastic for details. You could get so close up to your subject, and the fact that it's an f2.8, you open that up all the way and you could just get beautiful close-up detail shots. I think using an ND filter is a must, especially for exterior shots, and then sometimes inside your property, it's so bright, and you always want to maintain your shutter speed, double your frame rate. I use the Polar Pro Peter McKinnon 2-5 stop ND, but honestly, there's so many great brands out there that whatever you find will be great. Just don't go cheap. Because think about it, why would you put a cheap piece of glass in front of your expensive lens? Think about it. And lastly, I use a Zhiyun Crane 2 gimbal. I think gimbals are an absolute must for real estate video. You want to recreate a tour as if you're walking through the property. So what better way to do it than literally walk through with your stabilizer? There's so many great gimbals out now, so whichever one you choose, you'll be happy with. And then when you're using the gimbal, I like to use follow mode. This is where when you move the gimbal kind of up and down, left and right, it follows all your moves. So this is, let's say it's like, this big, beautiful space with this amazing, chandelier. So let's say you're in this really big space and it's got this big, beautiful chandelier. You could like walk in, go, and then slowly pan up. So just having that follow mode gives you so much room for creativity. So I'm gonna leave links to everything I just talked about down below. Now I'm gonna talk a bit about my filming techniques. Like I said, I love to use a gimbal, and when I shoot with a gimbal, you really gotta walk slowly, controlled, and calm. One of the mistakes that I see people make when they first start, myself included, you get a gimbal, you think, oh, it's just like, it's gonna work, it's a stabilizer, your footage is gonna be great. But actually that's not the case. You really need to practice your technique, heel to toe, nice and slow and controlled. You wanna make the gimbal do as little work as possible, because that's how you're gonna get the best results. So for me, I like to shoot in 4K 30p. The reason I shoot 30 frames and not 60 frames is I feel like 60 frames is a bit too slow. Also, my camera doesn't shoot 4K 60, so maybe when I get a camera with 4K 60, I might revise this. But for now, I really like 30p, and I think it's a bit underrated. So I do see a lot of other people shooting in 60 frames and putting it into a 30p timeline. And I do think that looks good, but my personal taste, I like 24p. You're just still able to get that really nice cinematic look. Another tip when filming, I like to do my wide shots first. You want to show depth in the space. You want to make sure the apartment seems big and alive. So I like to hug the corner of a room so you're able to get those leading lines of a room. Kind of like, you know, see what I'm doing here? You see that right above my head, leading lines? This is creating depth in the space. Had I took the camera and just pointed it looking this way, it wouldn't look as good. So do the same thing in your real estate videos. And then also, this is something I didn't do at first and something I've learned over the years, shoot details. It might be a faucet in a sink, a bathtub, a really nice stove. Whatever it is, if there's nice details, you should capture it. And also, if the property was staged, shoot some of the artwork. They will love this. You know, you want to kind of create an experience as if you were actually taking the tour itself. I honestly think real estate video has actually never been more important. So yeah, when you're shooting real estate, just note, you're gonna have different exposures throughout different rooms. You know, the sunlight is gonna be stronger on one side of the property versus the other, so make sure you're making your adjustments to your exposure. Sometimes you might choose to shoot in a log profile, other times you might choose to shoot in something more baked in. Honestly, I'll switch throughout the day depending on the room, so use your judgment. At the end of the day, you'll be happy that you're making those adjustments. So yeah, quick plug, we actually have a sponsor. Could you believe that? Only a couple YouTube videos in, we have a sponsor. And that sponsor is me. So yeah, I sell my photographs online as prints, canvases, mounted photographs, and even some mugs, a bunch of other stuff. There's a bunch of sizes. Quick plug, check out my online store, sell my prints. So 2 more quick tips. 1, I like to shoot B-roll shots with the agents. This really helps build their branding. Another tip, be sure to film the neighborhood. This could be a big selling point of the property. So before you shoot, find out what the selling points are of the neighborhood, find out what the biggest landmarks are, and then film some B-roll on the day of your shoot. The agents will appreciate this, as will the prospective buyers. Potential buyers want to see what the neighborhood is like, especially if they're out of the area. So make sure you do your homework, find out what the selling parts are of that neighborhood. Anyway guys, that's about it for today. I hope this helped. I'm thinking about maybe doing some more videos around real estate. Yeah, maybe going in a little bit more depth about this lens, or I could do a review like that. Maybe something about post-production. I do have some real estate work coming up, so maybe I could do a tutorial on how to edit real estate videos, or maybe something about how to get your first real estate client, because I know I didn't really go into that. Anyways guys, you enjoy. Happy holidays. Cheers. Okay, so let me see if this is recording. Okay, so, damn manual focus. I look warped as shit. Anyways, I'll be back. So moving on. Yeah, I keep a script. What do you want? I already walked you. All right, I guess we're gonna take another break.